These were all graves. This was a cemetery, but the military says that they were forced to come in here because they discovered a Hamas tunnel running right underneath that cemetery.
But the Israeli military failed to prove that stunning claim during a 3-hour tour of the area.
In yet another example of potential international war crimes, Israeli Defense Forces destroyed the Bani Suheila cemetery in Khan Younis in southern Gaza, exhuming the corpses of Palestinians buried at the site. Under international law, cemeteries and religious sites receive special protection, and destroying them could be considered a war crime. At this point, every time I mention potential war crimes, I can't help but feel like it's useless to even mention that, because this is what's been happening since the International Criminal Court of Justice came out and said that it is plausible that there is a genocide being carried out in Gaza, and then gave Israel actionable steps to take to prevent a genocide. And instead we have more cemeteries being destroyed, more corpses being dug up. The IDF says there is no way to accomplish its military goal of defeating Hamas without finding the tunnels where they say the militants have built command and control centers, transported weapons, and hidden some of the 130 hostages it is believed to be holding. They say digging up the tunnels involves unavoidable collateral damage to sacrosanct spaces. But CNN investigated the claims of a so-called command center under the cemetery, and they came up short on that evidence to justify what the IDF has been doing at this site. A week after CNN's investigation found that the Israeli military damaged or destroyed at least 16 cemeteries in Gaza since the beginning of the war, the Israeli military invited CNN into Gaza to explain why it partially destroyed one of those cemeteries. But Israeli commanders failed to prove their claim during the 3-hour visit to the Bani Suheila cemetery and its surrounding area. So I want to go to the first clip here where they'll talk about an entrance to the tunnel, but note that that entrance to the tunnel is not at the cemetery. It's a little away from the cemetery. Let's watch.
Where are we right now? I mean, what's above us?
So we're in the headquarters of a Hamas commander. Above us is a cemetery that I showed you from the outside.
If you look at the satellite imagery of this cemetery, there is a wide area that the military has cleared. Why is that necessary in order to uncover these tunnels?
We had to reach the tunnels. We had to reach the tunnels. We had to uncover the tunnels. We had to prevent from the enemy to flank us.
But there's no way for us to verify whether we are actually beneath the graveyard. Right. General Goldfuss takes us back out of the tunnel, but not into the cemetery. Instead, we leave the same way we came in, before walking back to the enormous hole where the cemetery once stood.
We're asking the general if we can actually see the shaft to the tunnel.
But the answer is no.
So as CNN reports in the print version of this story, they say, however, IDF commanders declined to show reporters the tunnel shaft they said emerged inside the cemetery, claiming that there was sensitive machinery underground and that the structure was unstable. And a spokesperson for the IDF said that they would provide a video of the tunnel shaft in the enormous hole that you witnessed in that video, which represents where the cemetery was, but they never did. Instead, the IDF had provided drone footage that showed 2 other tunnel entrances, one of which CNN entered, and you saw that in the video, near the cemetery, but not at the cemetery. CNN then later geolocated the tunnel entrances using footage filmed on the ground. And so I want to go to this last video showing you what happened next.
The Israeli military later provided this drone footage showing the tunnel shaft we entered and another one nearby. CNN geolocated the footage using this satellite image. This outline shows where the cemetery once stood, and these are the 2 tunnel entrances clearly outside the graveyard. As for the tunnel they say they found here, where the cemetery once stood, the military never provided any evidence.
So again, pretty incredible reporting from CNN. They're not just simply taking what the IDF says at face value, and they're doing their best to investigate it on the ground, which is pretty incredible. And look, even if you're not a religious person, I'm not a religious person. I understand like what it means to exhume bodies. And then, by the way, they were super careless with the bodies and later gave dozens of bodies to Palestinians near the Rafah border. They couldn't identify the bodies and just ended up burying them in a mass grave. Just think about what it feels like to be a family member who might want to visit your loved one at the cemetery, and now you no longer have the ability to do so. It's just, it's sick, it really is. All of this is so incredibly sick. It's a level of cruelty that even at this point in my life, I shouldn't be this naive, but it's unimaginable to me, absolutely unimaginable to me.
Yeah, so first of all, tremendous credit to Jeremy Diamond, who so far has been the best reporter on the scene, and to CNN. So I think that Israel assumed that CNN would help them do propaganda because this was super careless on their part. They say, here, come here, reporter. We're gonna take you and your camera people to show you how this graveyard that we destroyed is, because of a series of tunnels we found underneath it that we were so concerned about. Then it turns out the tunnels are not under the graveyard at all. You saw the video, right? And Jeremy Diamond asked, well, where are they? I don't understand. Like how, I thought we were gonna come out of the cemetery. And then they asked, hey, listen guys, since you asked us and it's already on tape, you gotta send us a drone video showing us how the graveyard is connected to the tunnels.
Right.
And Israel sends nothing back because they don't have anything, they were lying. And they must have assumed that CNN would help them lie.
So let me just correct you a little bit because it's important to get this right. So the IDF did end up sending a drone video to CNN with the hope of identifying tunnel shafts that CNN, I guess, would mistake for tunnel shafts at the cemetery. But CNN did their due diligence and they did geolocation of those tunnel shafts that were shown in the drone footage. And they're like, no, this isn't at the cemetery.
Yeah, it's a good clarification, not a correction, because I said there was no video of anything coming out of the graveyard. And so, look, I think that to be fair to the IDF, they probably thought it's American media. We just have to give them a fig leaf and they'll help us do propaganda. That's what we've done the last 40, 50 years. All of a sudden, this Jeremy Diamond guy starts doing real reporting. What the hell's going on here, right? So they must have been blindsided by an actual reporter there. Again, great credit to CNN. You don't see me say that often. It's because it doesn't happen often, but when it does, I love it. Thank you. And more of that. Okay, now let's get back to the main issue. So look, in a previous report also by Jeremy Diamond on CNN, they showed the 16 Muslim cemeteries had been destroyed. And then very important, I was waiting the whole story to see if he was gonna cover this, and he did. He said, but none of the Jewish and Christian cemeteries in Gaza were touched. And there are Jewish and Christian cemeteries in Gaza. The ostensible reason that Israel had given last week when they first did, the CNN did that first report was, oh, we're busy looking for the bodies of the hostages. And we had to dig, you never know, they could put it into the graves, they could put it, you never know. And they're like, okay, yeah, but we could also put it in the graves of the Jewish or the Christian cemeteries, and that might even be more likely, right? But you didn't touch them because that's sacrosanct. You don't want to violate that sacred ground. But when it comes to Muslim sacred ground, oh, you violated it 16 times, didn't care at all, dug up the bodies, threw them around, don't know who they are.
It's sick, it's sick, it's sick, it's sick. It shouldn't happen to any bodies, okay? I don't care about the religious affiliation. I don't care about the identities of the corpses at these grave sites and cemeteries. It's sick, it's so sick that they did this.
No, the reason that the identities matter is because this is Israel spitting in the Palestinians' face and in Muslim faces all across the world and going, look at this, we desecrated your ancestors. What are you gonna do about it? Ha ha, nothing, because we have the 2,000-pound bombs, we have a giant military, we have America backing us, and you guys don't have anything. Ha ha, we'll kill you anytime we like, we'll occupy you forever, and now we'll spit on your ancestors. But we're the good guys. By the way, we'll kill 25 times the number of civilians you did, but we're the good guys and you guys are the terrorists. Sorry, no way. IDF are definite terrorists. That guy you saw on tape, that so-called general or whatever he was, terrorist. This is what war crimes are. This is what terrorists do. And then they go, oh my God, can you believe what Hamas did? Yeah, I hate what Hamas did. How about what you sick people are doing? So that's referring to the IDF and Netanyahu. And so Look, there's no subtlety at all anymore. They're purposely killing civilians. They're purposely desecrating graves. They're saying we're going to destroy everything in Gaza, and they have. 60% of the buildings are gone. 85% of the people are homeless. 25% of the people are starving. Right now, 85% of the people that are starving in the world are in Gaza. I'm sorry, 80%. 80% of all of the people starving in the world are in Gaza. And Israel's the good guys and the Palestinians are the bad guys? If you think that, you're so biased you can't see straight, or you're just not that bright. You're like, what's higher, 1 or 25? I can't tell. Oh, what's worse? Wait, which one is occupying which? I can't tell. In America, it makes it look like the Palestinians are occupying the Israelis. No, the Israelis have brutally occupied and demeaned and humiliated these people for the last 75 years. And I'm not gonna be quiet about it. I don't care if it offends you. Those dead people in Gaza offend me 10,000 times more. And if they don't offend you, there's something wrong in your moral core. If you look at them and go, who cares? Palestinians, they had it coming. Muslims, who cares? If you say that, you're a sick person. So go get help.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members, because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us, become a Young Turk.